It's everywhere.
Call the meeting to order. Join me for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. We'll start with a roll call, please.
Callahan?
Here.
Houston?
Here.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusader?
Here.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Sorry, that doesn't pass at all. It's, everybody's there.
It did pass.
Good pass.
You passed. You did.
muster.
Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes 7-0. Public comment. Dave, anything back there? Nothing there. Nothing here? Okay, then we'll move to the oath of office. If I could have Brian, Brett, and Deb join me down there, please. So what we're going to do, we'll do them all at once. Brian, here's yours. Okay. Does it?
This is Brett Debs.
There's yours. I'll mess up this. So if all of you could just raise your right hand. I state your name, please.
I, Aaron Prusader,
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability,
and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability,
discharge all duties of the position of, and then
discharge all duties of the position of at-large city council member
in the City of Independence as now and hereinafter required by law.
in the city of Independence as now and hereinafter required by law.
Congratulations, Deb. Congratulations. So hold on, Brian.
Sorry,
Photo op.
photo op.
So how do you want?
Well, why don't you come up in front of the camera, in front of the podium? And you got your sheets so we could read them. You're good. Remember in the back that you're in the picture, so.
Stop.
Okay, so. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
I just hide behind that.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm they're trying not to make faces.
You get your beard trimmed up and everything for the photo shoot?
No, it needed done anyway. It needed done.
You know, that addition they had?
I need signatures though, right?
Housing addition.
Okay, next we'll move to the consent agenda. I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes of the November 27, 2023 regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next we move to financials, item number 7 on the agenda. I need a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
Second. A motion and a second. Any questions regarding the claims at all? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the bank reconciliation. This is for information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to the bank reconciliation? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the item 9, the revenues and expenses to date. That, again, that's for information only. Is there anybody have any questions with regard to revenues and expenses to date? Hearing none, let's move to item 10, which is the 2023 audit report. Dustin, do you want to come up? Okay. You should have the PowerPoint's up there, but you also should have it in your packet as well.
Yeah, so this is more of a summary of the communication letter and then some of the audit reports that we put in the financial statements. We figured this was a more palatable way than, going through the 100 pages of documents.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm Dustin. I'm the audit manager and super excited to be here with you. If you have any questions while I'm giving my presentation, feel free to interrupt me. I have such a passion for city finance that if nobody stops me, I will just keep going. But if you
We'll
don't,
stop you.
Right. If you don't have any questions, we can absolutely catch them at the end too. So no worries. So this is the 2023 audit report presentation. So I wanted to start by summarizing the different reports that we do issue. So the most important one being the independent auditor's report. It's essentially what the city pays us for to express an opinion on your financial statements. And so you as management are responsible for those financial statements, and it's our responsibility as your auditors to come in, test, examine, audit those financial statements to make sure they present fairly. So we do give an unmodified opinion, which is the best we're allowed to give, on the cash basis of accounting. And so you do not prepare full GAAP financial statements because in the state of Iowa you aren't required to, right? And then we also do give an adverse opinion on your utility because they are on a different basis of accounting. And so we do not include them in your audit report, so you won't see them anywhere. But because of the way they're structured, they should be included in your audit report. And so we just basically are telling the reader of the financial statements that, you know, they're a part of your city that's not being included in your financial statements. And so that's why we give an adverse opinion on that. Okay. A second report that we issue is the Government Auditing Standards Report. So because of the level of grants you receive, we're required to look a little bit closer at your compliance with laws, contracts, grants, internal controls, all that good stuff. And we do have two significant deficiencies, which are mid-level findings. They're the same level findings and the same exact findings you've received in the past. One related to lack of segregation of accounting duties in the fire department, and another lack of segregation of accounting duties in the library. So those are two legally separate organizations that, like the utility, should be included in your financial statements, and they are. And so during the audits of those two organizations, there's just not a lot of hands in a lot of those transactions, and there's a decent amount of cash involved. And so there are some compensating controls, which is why it's at a mid-level finding and not the highest level finding, but just something to be aware of for you. And then the last letter is the Iowa Code of Compliance. So the state auditor gives us a bunch of checklists of state statutes that they want us to check compliance with. And so we had two compliance findings related to that. One was your expenditures were over budget in one area. So in Iowa, it not only has to be under budget in total, it has to be under budget by functional area. So public safety, public works, culture and rec, all those different areas. And so there was one function of the budget that was slightly over budget. And then the second one is there was one fund in deficit related to your tax increment financing. Okay, the rest of this presentation is gonna just go through activity of like the general fund and your enterprise funds, and we do it on a 5-year trend. And so starting with the general fund, so your receipts exceeded your disbursements by about 22,000, and then there were some significant transfers out, and so your total general fund cash did decrease just under 400,000. So your fund balance policy calls for about 25% of operating expenditures in that unassigned fund balance, and at the end of the year, you were at about 34%. So you're in compliance with your policy, even though your overall cash balance in that fund did decrease. I'm looking at some of the pieces of the general fund. We start with receipts. So overall receipts increased by about 5%, or 246,000. A good chunk of that was related to your taxes increasing, related to an increase in the levy. And all of the other sources were pretty similar year over year. On the disbursement side, you did have increased disbursements. They went up about 772,000, or 17%. Public safety increased related to building the new police department building, as well as increased salaries and benefits in that area. Culture and recreation disbursements increased related to some increased salaries for aquatic center employees. And then there was also a transfer out to other funds of about 433,000. So that's the big driver of that cash decrease this year, that fund. On the enterprise side, this first slide looks at your operating income, and all of these numbers look very pretty, right? Because they only are operating receipts and disbursements. They don't include any of your capital project costs, they don't include your debt service costs, and they don't include any transfers to other funds. So your water fund had an operating income of $845,000, which is a slight decrease year over year. So the reason your operating income increased is because you had fewer repair and maintenance costs this year. So outside of that operating income, you did have Small amounts of debt service, so about $89,000 of debt service costs, and then you had $414,000 of capital project costs. Okay. On the sewer side, your sewer had an operating income of 1.4 million, which is a decrease of 244,000 from last year. So the reason your operating income decreased, partly the utility changed the timing of some of your receipts, and so those were down this year. And then as a cash basis, it's not necessarily when you have the right to those receipts, it's purely when you receive them. So if they're changing the timing on their end, does impact your receipts. And then you had some increased engineering costs related to the wastewater plant redesign. Outside of your operating activity, you did have debt service costs of $290,000, and then a small amount of capital projects of $59,000. The stormwater, so that operating income was $130,000, which is a pretty comparable year over year, only a decrease of about $10,000. You can see this fund, this is only the second year of this fund's operations. And so it's going to fluctuate a little bit just as you kind of get that going as far as, the operations and making sure that that's all the right size. So outside of operating income, which stayed pretty consistent, you did have capital project costs of $133,000, and you also had bond proceeds in that fund for the first time of about $810,000, which you'll see on the next page when we start to look at cash position. So the cash balance of the sewer fund has increased in all 5 years presented. The cash balance of the water fund, which is the blue bar, has kind of fluctuated a little bit based on some capital projects and some meter purchases. It did have an increase this year just with positive operations. And then that green bar, you can see, did have quite a big jump related to that bond issuance. And so that's cash that you're planning on spending in future years. It just, as of June 30th, hadn't been spent yet. The last thing I wanted to touch on, and I know we touched on this last year, is the capital project fund. And so you can see this fund is kind of fluctuated, which you would expect it to with, bond proceeds and timing of projects and all that good stuff. So at the end of the year, it did have $2.3 million positive cash. So kind of like we talked about last year, within that amount, there's probably 20 to 30 different capital project funds, right? And so there's a handful of them that are significantly negative. And so if you think about this, so of the 30 capital project funds, there's a handful of them that are negative 1.8 million. And then there's a handful that are positive 4.1 million of unspent bond proceeds. And so together, they net together for a positive 2.3, but there are some deficits almost hiding in there, right? That of old capital projects that, were either went over budget or overspent some way that will eventually need to be filled, and you're probably not able to bond for them. There's no additional grant revenue coming in for projects. But yeah, just something I wanted you to be aware of.
Concern about those negative?
It is a little concerning just because it is a $1.8 million hole that you'll eventually need to fill with probably general fund sources or lost sources. I know Susie is very well aware of it and she's working on it, but yeah, that's why whenever a city has some of those hanging out there from a long time ago, we try to bring it up because it is kind of hidden if you're just looking at your financial statements, because it's being netted with all of those capital projects that currently have positive balances.
Okay, good to know.
Other than that was all I had for you. So if you have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to talk through them. And this is how you would get a hold of me. If you ever have questions throughout the year, I'm definitely here as a resource for you.
One question I have for you is, we have this every year, but the lack of accounting for the fire department and the library.
Yep.
Fire department, I guess, even though we're dealing with some now major funds, I'm not as concerned because of the number of personnel, but the library seems to be that we should be able to have more people involved in the operation or cash operation business and
Sure.
or handling of the receipts and that.
What kind of money are we talking about on the receipts?
That I don't know off the top of my head. That I could look that up in the financial statements quick. I mean, it varies year over year depending on the fundraising they do, and book sales is their main source of
To
income.
be fair, this is the Friends of the Library and the Library Foundation. Extras,
So
the
it's
ones that I don't actually
groups
have.
that work with the library to do fundraising.
Yes.
So
That's where the
501c3s?
auditing is coming from. So is there any way the library
Just
can?
for sure. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Is there any way the
He answered.
library can help with that, or how does that work?
So in the audit report, I think, the financial statement one, the thicker one,
Right.
there's the response to the findings from both the library and the fire department, that they will try to work on it, but sometimes it's just hard. And honestly, segregation of duties, that's honestly in constant comment finding in any audit. And it's very hard to get rid
I
of.
know the school district ran into this problem with one of their, I think was the band boosters, that money wasn't accounted for properly, and they ran into some big problems there. And I don't want us to, because even though we're talking about Friends and Auxiliary, that, if there's ways we can prevent them from,
Well, I'm not sure that we have any control over the foundation or Friends of the Library in terms of how they operate with the funding and the sales and the money that they bring in. I'm not sure that the city itself has any control over that, do we?
I don't think that we have any control over it, but we could certainly request for more people to be involved in that process of those two foundations.
See, I think in the school district, they ended up changing the way that they do all their fundraising just because of issues that came up. So everything had to go through a particular kind of a
chain of
way, yeah. And I think it all had to be done online, like all their fundraising and things, so that it could be through that accountability piece.
I also don't think, and I'm not sure because I haven't looked at the financial either, that this is a very large sum of money that we're talking about. I don't think it's,
No, I don't want to give a dollar amount because I don't know it off the top of my head, but yeah.
And Independence Public Library Foundation, according to the report on page 139 of the packet, shows $47,000 in receipts.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Disbursements of $74,000, with a balance at the end of the year of about $400,000 in that group.
Okay.
other,
I think Tom is right, though. I think there was some huge problems just a few times. When I was on the board, I know there had been something prior to that, and then I think there had been something in more recent years, too. So it's kind of an ongoing issue if it's not curtailed or modified or taken care of.
Even though the city doesn't have control over those entities, if something were to happen, it would fall back to the city, wouldn't it?
I believe that's true.
Okay, so that's my concern, I guess, is that,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay.
It might be interesting just to talk to some of our contacts to see how the school district handled that, because I know it was truly a concern that they had, that they actually did something about in the way
I think theirs is a lot more money. I think you're talking about a lot more money in terms of band boosters than you are talking about.
Band boosters, yes, but there were some other things that came up too that were smaller amounts. And just because of a confidentiality piece, I don't want to mention
Sure.
the other one, but I think it was a much smaller, more of a classroom type of thing.
If anything, it might just be worth reaching out and asking them how they did it to get ideas. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
absolutely.
many more people need to get involved with the checking of that stuff to make it?
You know, that's a great question. However many it takes to segregate all of the different parts of a transaction. So, you know, whether that's if 2 people or 3 people can adequately separate all the different parts of the transaction, you know, that's fine. We work with larger cities that have, you know, an accounting staff of 10 people, and they can't, you know, it's a cost versus benefit analysis as well. You want to make sure you are able to keep the people that you have employed busy, right? And you want to make sure that you're using their time efficiently. So some,
The simple answer would be if you had just one other person, what you're talking about with the audit report is that the concern is that one person is handling all of the process as far as receipts
Yep.
and that, and if you just had one more person, you know, theoretically,
so like, there's 4 separate parts of a transaction. So if you think like cash receipts, you have someone collecting it, you have someone reconciling the cash.
Correct.
You have someone bringing it to the bank, and then you have someone doing the bank rec at the end of the
Yes.
month. And so, you know, in a perfect world, all 4 parts of those transactions are separated in some way. You know, whether if 2 people can, you know, figure it out.
that's not to say that it still can't be abused.
Right,
You know?
right. And so I guess what we get back to is the more hands in those types of transactions, the better, right? The more people that
Correct.
that have eyes.
Correct.
And that sort of thing. So, yeah, I hesitate to be like, well, you need 2 people or you need 3 people. You know, it's all about how you assign those duties and how you're able to segregate those.
Yeah.
And I think, if I remember correctly, one of the things I did at the school is, like, your job wasn't always to bring in the funds. So sometimes there was a mix-up so that we were each doing, you know, each person was doing different duties, so there wasn't one person just wholeheartedly in charge of one piece to it. I think that was one of the things they ended up doing, if I remember correctly. And that helped with the accountability piece.
Yep.
So a little cross training.
Cross-training, yep.
On volunteers.
Yeah.
Other questions? Win the under. Thank you, Dustin.
Perfect, thank you. Now I just have to
Thank you.
figure out how to.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to the 2024 street rehabilitation project. There's 4 separate issues here, 11, 12, 13, and 14, so we'll start with 11. I need a motion for a preliminary resolution pursuant to, I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the preliminary resolution pursuant to Section 384.42 of the Iowa Code covering the 2024 street rehabilitation project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that?
Given our budget situation, we want to explore not doing the street thing this year?
We received funds for this project in the recent bond we took out this spring.
Oh, that's right, that's
So
right, I forgot about that, yeah.
This essentially
We
is
have to, so we just.
funded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there anything else further? Okay, this is a roll call vote then.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Prasada,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes,
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, item number 12, I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution approving and adopting the preliminary plans and specifications, estimate of cost, and plat and schedule.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that? Hearing none, again, a roll call vote.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Prasada,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
yes,
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 13, which is a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution that sets a public hearing date of January 22, 2024 at 5 o'clock p.m. for the proposed resolution of necessity.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that?
yes. If the estimated cost exceeds our bonding I would make a motion, we decrease the number of streets to meet the bond funding.
I think that's something we'll have to discuss as we get further along, but yes, that's definitely what we would look at.
But I'd like it
We've had-
in the record right now, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
This particular motion is just about setting the public
Oh, I know
hearing
that.
itself, but I agree with you.
Because if this is in there, then it's,
Sure.
And just to give you some background on that too, myself and Susie met with Brian and Mark both from Crawford and discussed some of that already, looking at whether or not we needed to reduce the number of streets, but we think we've got a solution that will work so that we can fund everything adequately.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, so I need a roll call vote on that then?
Moore,
Yes.
Versater,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Okay, now we move to item number 14. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution to provide for a notice of hearing on the proposed plan specifications, form of contract, an estimate of cost for the 2024 street rehabilitation project, and the taking of bids therefor.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that? Hearing none, again, this is a roll call vote then.
Versater,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we're going to move to item number 15. This is the preliminary plat Maryville. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution accepting and approving the plat of Maryville within the 2 miles of the city limits of the city of Independence, Iowa.
So moved.
Second.
Can I have a motion second? What happens when a particular development is going in outside of the city, if it's within 2 miles of it, our planning and zoning reviews it, makes the recommendation to council that we approve it, which has been done. So we're in a position where this is not something that's being built within the city, this is something being built outside the city, but we still approve the plat on it. So that's what we're here for.
Could you describe a little bit more? I know I'm looking at a picture of it,
Yeah,
but
I'm not getting it
somebody
either.
help me give a better view of where we're at with this.
so this is right next to the golf course where Denali's is at. This is off of Country Club Road. That make more sense?
Yes.
It's next to the existing subdivision that's there. There's some
Okay.
remaining land.
Yeah.
Further, any discussion with regard to the approval of the plat? Hearing none, we'll move to a roll call vote then.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Versater.
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
That makes more sense.
Next, I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution authorizing and approving the amended bridge agreement with Buchanan County and to authorize the city manager to sign the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, as you'll recall, we entered into an agreement with the county with respect to having them do the bridge inspections for us rather than doing it out from outside. It's substantial savings to us. We had our city attorney prepare the document. We then entered into some negotiations with the county attorney with respect to some of the issues. One of the things that they were opposed to was they didn't want to provide an indemnity agreement, but we suggested to them that if they weren't going to provide an indemnity agreement, we wanted to be named as an additional insured on their policy. So they've agreed to that, and then the question is how much that would be. We agreed that as part of the fee that we would have on our not to exceed $2,500, that the whatever the cost of the additional insured endorsement would be included in that as well. So other than that, the agreement's done. That the county already signed, so it's just a matter of you.
Has Alex started the review?
He can't start until you guys approve it tonight.
Okay.
Right.
So any further discussion with regard to that? Okay, hearing none, that would be a roll call vote then.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Versater,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we have a series of appointments that we discussed at the last time. All of these but one are reappointments, but we'll go through them individually. First, I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Mike Lennius to the Independence Light and Power Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. I assume there's no discussion with regard to this. Hearing none, we'll move to the roll call vote then.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
Passes 7-0.
Oh, Laughlin, I'm not
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
done.
Okay, sorry.
Jensen?
Yes and yes.
Sorry about that. You cancel out your vote there, but we had the majority already on it. Next, we move to item number 18, which is a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Amber Hunt to the Independence Light and Power Board of Trustees.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Unless there's any discussion, we'll move to the roll call vote. Go ahead.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to a series of ones for
Agreed.
planning and zoning. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Jane Levin to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll move to a roll call vote on that then.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 20, which is a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Tammy Fenner to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. There's no discussion. Then we'll move to a roll call vote.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Move to item number 21. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Larry Karsten to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll move forward with the roll call vote on that.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 22. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Bill Lake to the Planning and Zoning Committee.
So moved.
Sorry,
Second.
Commission. I have a motion. Go ahead.
Second?
Okay. I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we'll move to the roll call vote on that.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 23. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Stephanie Saylor to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, we move to a roll call vote on that.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 24. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Stephanie Burns to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, roll call vote, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 25, moving to the airport board appointments. I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution reappointing Vicki Pilcher to the airport board.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion, then we would move to a roll call vote.
Houston?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Okay, move to item number 26, which is a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign a resolution appointing Merritt Jones to the airport board.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. This is what we talked about. This is the new appointee that was not being reappointed, who's the dentist from Jessup, who's also a tenant out at the airport as well. Roll call vote on that then.
Hannah?
Yes.
Moore?
Yes.
Prusado?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Jensen?
Yes.
Callahan?
Yes.
Houston?
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, to move to the other business, item number 27, I need a motion to cancel the Tuesday, December 26, 2023 regularly scheduled city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
A motion is second. We've had some discussion about this already. Is there anybody that wants to have further discussion with regard to that? I know badly you want to stay, Jen, but, you know.
Well, I do too. I want her to stay too, you know. I don't want this to be her last meeting.
I'm sorry. So there's nothing that's going to be a problem because we canceled this? Okay.
No, we've got it all under control, and I
Okay.
think it's appropriate to do so.
I have a Christmas party that night, so
Oh, good for
I
you.
agree wholeheartedly.
Roll call vote on that then, please.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
No.
Hannah.
Yes.
Passes 6-1. Next, we move to item number 28, which is a motion to adopt the 2024 City Council meeting schedule.
So move.
Second.
We can do this by a consent, so all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to three change order items with regard to the facade program. Item number 29 is first. I need a motion to approve the change order number 10 for the Independence Facade COVID project with a decrease in the contract in the amount of $11,435 and to authorize the city manager to sign the change order.
So moved.
So, second.
Motion is second. Most of these at this point, because we're in the final process of completing the facade, are monies in which we had, what's the right word, we were holding additional.
Contingency.
We had contingency funds, and these are merely transferring the contingency funds back. So this would be further discussion at all on that? Hearing none, we'll move to a roll call vote then.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 39, which is a motion to approve change order number 11 for the Independence Facade COVID project with a decrease in the contract in the amount of $2,370 and to authorize the city manager to sign the change order.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. If there's no discussion with regard to that, we then move to the roll call vote.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the last item on that part of the agenda, which is a motion to approve the change order number 12 for the Independence Facade COVID project with a decrease in the contract in the amount of $7,833 and to authorize the city manager to sign the change order.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to that? Hearing none, move to a roll call vote.
Is this the last of the change orders?
We're missing one. I think it's change order number 22, I believe, or something like that, where we just didn't have the documentation yet on it yet, but we're getting close to that.
It should be, I think that one's planned to be on the 8th, the January 8th meeting. Is it farther out than that?
No, at January 8th, but I was thinking it was a different change order, maybe not.
We're getting close.
There's been a lot of change
There's a lot of
orders.
them. Yeah.
I like those.
Roll call vote.
Especially.
So if we had that council meeting in a couple of weeks, we could probably take care of that change order
Yeah,
then.
but you guys already canceled
Yeah, you have
it,
more,
so-
you gotta have more than just you present.
That, and, okay, so to be fair though,
You're only one vote, Tom, one vote.
with these
I
change
know.
orders,
It's always this way.
we have to get the property owner to sign them first, and then
Right.
they come to council. So that's why there's not always an order,
Right.
like a normal project. So that's why it jumps around.
Did I do roll call yet?
Jensen,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Okay, now we move to reports. Jen, what lovely thing do you have for us today?
Well, not a lot. I'm just grateful for the experience that I've had. I think we as a group have done some wonderful things during my term. I think we're more of a cohesive unit than when I first got on. I'm proud of the fact that of the facade updates that we did in the last couple of years, as well as 150 North and South and the turf project out on the complex. So very excited to see what Brett will do. And I'm just ready to move on. So good luck to all of you. You've got a lot of challenges ahead of you. So I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gonna miss my Wrangler over here. She kept me in line, so
It's a tough job, isn't it?
Brett?
we might have to move the chairs around a little bit here. But appreciate all of Jen's work with the city,
Thanks, Tom.
and I agree with her that we've done some good things, and future's bright.
Thank you, Tom. Yep.
Just Merry Christmas to everyone and Happy New Year.
Yeah, that's coming up too.
Yeah.
Same thing. I wish everybody a very good holiday season, and remember what the holiday is about.
Brian?
Food and presents.
Mike?
Be sure and remember the young people at schools with athletic events all the way from junior high up through high school. That's how we keep the participation up there, is giving them some support and encouragement. I think that's needed at this point in time, post-COVID and stuff.
Yeah, very good point, Mike.
Kathy?
I don't have anything, can you imagine?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either.
Nope.
No shoulder problem.
Did you have something? Dave, anything?
Nothing other than just look at that quarterly report from Foundation 2 that was in the packet for the update and showing what good work we're doing with that crisis response.
Oh, yeah.
Are you pleased with that program?
Yeah, that is, I was impressed by that too.
Yes.
Me too.
So kind of the misnomer on that is the fact it's marked quarter one. It's quarter one because it's the first quarter they've been with us. You'll get those reports 4 times a year, but you could see that 7 out of 7 clients were helped. And the big thing to note is at the bottom on the left on that, it talks about that one client, how they were placed. And then of the clients that they had, 6 out of 7 required nothing, and those 6 out of 7 had no law enforcement calls and no emergency room visits over the next time after they've been dealt with. And you saw Kimberly come in here tonight because she was meeting with somebody at the office and forgot her key card today, so I had to loan her mine. But she's still continuing on that job, so I think when you see the increase as we get into budget, you're going to see a slight increase in that dispatch fees because that's where that money's going to go. But understand that that's money well spent for us, and it's not only saving the city, it's saving our overall money for the Buchanan County area as well, in those healthcare costs that we're driving down. So I almost wish I had 2 of them, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
It's a tremendous asset for the city.
It is for everyone, and this is something that, this hits at those people that need help the most and are sometimes overlooked by our services, or we don't have the specific service. I know, Deb, you hit me hard on that last year when we were having that issue. Now we have the service, and so we're getting there, so.
Keep the
Tis the season too.
Yeah, right. So I just wanted to make sure to point that out to you, look at that report and kind of see the good work we've been doing there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
And thank you, Jen, for all your service.
Before we actually have the adjournment, Jen, could you come up just 1 second right here, just please?
Why?
Because I'm going to allow you to use the gavel to end the meeting.
Wow.
We're not very trusting here.
Can I start off, have a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
We're out.
Adjourn.